Hey guys! So back in January I mentioned that I wanted 2015 to be my year of Miyazaki, or that I wanted to watch as many Studio Ghibli films in 2015 as possible. Today I wanted to kick that off by talking not about a Studio Ghibli film, but about a documentary about Studio Ghibli called The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness. This was released in 2015 under the Japanese title Yume Tokyoki no Okoku, and it was directed and written by Mami Tsunada. This documentary focuses primarily on the activity around Studio Ghibli headquarters and follows specifically Hayao Miyazaki himself and his producer Toshizo Suzuki as they work to get The Wind Rises into production and then to release. There's also a third figure that kind of looms in the background of this documentary, and that is Isao Takahata. And if you guys saw The Princess Kaguya, which was nominated for an Oscar this year, he was the director behind that film. Although what's kind of actually happening in the documentary is Miyazaki preparing The Wind Rises to go into production and then to release, there's a lot more going on in that it really focuses on Miyazaki's motivations, his kind of underlying beliefs, and his relationships, specifically with Takahata, as they kind of have come up together and kind of have mentored each other through the animation filmmaking ranks, and it's really, really eye-opening. This is such a successful documentary, I think, primarily because it really embodies all things Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli. It even has that same feel. Something beautiful that Miyazaki says towards the beginning of the documentary is that the world is not simple enough to explain in words, and I think that that really kind of describes this documentary in one little sentence. Tsunada does something very smart in that she is very particular and very minimalistic about what voiceover she uses to, say, describe the history of Studio Ghibli or describe certain relationships Miyazaki has. Rather than just dumping a bunch of information on you, she kind of just turns on the camera, points it at Miyazaki, and lets his presence radiate out through the screen. This is not only a very respectful way to go about dealing with a still living filmmaker and artist, but it also feels very organic. It doesn't feel like she is trying to create a portrait as maybe popular culture would like to see Miyazaki, but rather she just lets him choose how much of himself he wants to share with the world. Quite frankly, there are several instances throughout the documentary where I was really surprised about how candid he was being with the camera, specifically about some of his experiences as a child living during the bombings of Japan, and I don't know, it was just very interesting, and I think this film does a spectacular job of really giving you an insight to not just Miyazaki's creative process, but really the kind of life experiences that he has internalized and tried to express in his films. Now, I just want to leave you with an image from one of Miyazaki's films to kind of try and describe the beauty and the lyricism of this documentary. Consider Kiki's delivery service. At the beginning of that film, we find Kiki lying in a field of grass. It's breezy, the grass is long and flowing around her, her hair is blowing in the wind, her dress is moving lightly, her eyes are closed, and she's listening to a radio that's playing very softly, just barely breaking through to the audience. That image, that tranquil image, is pretty much this documentary in a nutshell. And if you are a fan of Miyazaki's work, if you're a fan of Studio Ghibli in general, I highly, highly recommend that you check this out. I guess I should add that the documentary does go fairly in-depth into Miyazaki's thought process in creating The Wind Rises, so if you haven't seen that film yet, or you are super not into potential spoilers, maybe wait until you've seen that film to watch this documentary. But honestly, I haven't seen The Wind Rises yet, and if anything, it just makes me want to watch it more, and I think I will appreciate it more because I can see how much of Miyazaki's personal life has been tied into that film. Alright, you guys, those are all of my thoughts on the documentary The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness, and if you have seen the documentary, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. This also officially kicks off my year of Miyazaki, so next I will be watching Kiki's Delivery Service. I haven't actually picked a date as to when that needs to be watched by and when I will be filming a discussion or review, but I'm thinking, I just thought of this off the top of my head, that I should be making this into a hashtag, so if you guys want to get in on the discussion and want to kind of join in as well, we can talk about it on Twitter with hashtag Year of Miyazaki, so look for updates there, and yeah, hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye! Producer go about filming a